Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of Race Week, and today we're going to ask, should Mohammed bin Sulayem resign? I'm also going to look at initial reactions to the 3 liveries we've had since last week's episode as well. But yes, to the last week's poll, should Mohammed bin Sulayem resign? Majority say yes, and to be honest, reading the BBC article, the majority of F1 teams agree that he has to go, because the fact, if you're familiar with what happened, basically there was a website where there were sexist remarks attributed to its president. Apparently the FIA have released a statement saying it does not reflect his beliefs. And the spokesperson for the remarks that in this archive website from 2001 do not reflect the president's belief. The fact that Mohammed bin Sulayem, who's been very vocal on Twitter in his war with F1, Liberty Media, FOM, etc., basically he's not said a single thing about this, which is a massive problem. He, in my view, has to go, because he's not come out and said this is a mistake, this isn't me. There's question, even in the bottom of this BBC article, there's questions of whether it's actually Ben Sulayem's website in the first place. But there's been silence, nothing from Ben Sulayem. What he has come out and said is he's opened the bidding process for 2 new teams. I'll come back to that shortly as well. But basically, a lot of people inside want him to go, but there's widespread because everyone thinks he's got to go, said one Formula 1 team boss. It's definitely the general view. F1 teams are also not happy about this. They think they don't particularly enjoy him as the FIA president, and this is now become his remarks are unacceptable, and the fact of the matter is his lack of response is unacceptable as well. So my personal view is he has to go, unfortunately. But I understand that some of the things he's trying to do, like grow the sport, for example, and I'll come to that now. The addition of 2 new teams potentially by the FIA. They've opened the bidding process this week, or last week, excuse me, for 2 new teams to join the grid as early as 2025. Bidding process closes on, or bids have to be submitted, by the 30th of April. We'll find out on the 30th of June who's been accepted. Now, the problem I'm going to see here is the FIA have opened this bidding process, but F1 itself has not. So FOM probably will not allow this to happen, and the teams on any new entrant have a veto. And I don't, considering the fact F1's doing very well for itself at the moment, the teams will not want to have anybody else come in and take money out of their prize pot, basically. The problem is that the sport actually needs more teams, in my opinion, especially a second American team like Andretti Cadillac would be huge for the sport. Now, the other issue that's come front line as well is the FIA's restriction on what is apparently a driver's ability to speak out on social and political issues. We've had Bottas and now Albon speak out against the FIA. Now, sport apparently should never be a political tool, according to Christian Horner, who, in my view, is incorrect, because sport exactly should be a political tool, because at the end of the day, that is what matters. Sport, at the end of the day, is entertainment. Yes, these people do it for their jobs, but it is, at the end, you are entertaining a viewer at the end of the day, for F1 potentially as well. Obviously, Albon's been said the subject of freedom of speech and discussed between the drivers, not too much. Now, obviously, Sebastian Vettel's no longer. I don't think he's on the Grand Prix Drivers Association. I'll be interested to see what they have to say about this, and whether, if there is somebody if the FIA is somebody like a Hamilton, who's previously brought these issues up to light and try and shine light on issues to the rest of the world, which is correct that he does so as well, because after all, F1, the drivers are supposed to be role models for people, and if they bring important issues to light, then more and more people will become aware of these issues, because otherwise it goes away and we got, at the end of the day, F1 is no better than sports washing itself. It's also been accused of greenwashing as well in terms of its net zero claims, because obviously of the amount of cryptocurrency sponsors on the cars as well. Bearing in mind that is not happening. And then you've also seen the new calendar and how many 140,000 whatever it was miles we're going to be doing this year in terms of flying about. So yes, obviously for me, Ben Sulayem, just like I agree with you guys, he has to go. It's time. I like some of the, it's not all bad. Like, I like the fact that he's managed to trying to add teams to the sport, which will increase the sport, but he's going to hit a roadblock anyway. Until they can get the teams away from their veto, then there's going to be obviously be a lot of issues. But this war is going to spiral out of control. The teams don't have any control over removing. There's not really a precedent for removing a FIA president, so the fact they can try and get a vote of no confidence, but that will require motorsport, national motorsport agencies, and so far that's unlikely to happen. It's never been done before, so I don't think it will happen at the moment. It's the only way. You'll have to force him out by he'll have to resign, which is unfortunate. There needs to be something added for cases like this. Now, stepping away from the FIA president, and we've got 3 liveries have been revealed. Well, when I say 3, first of all, last Friday, Red Bull bored everybody to death, and I mean everybody, by talking about skiing and other sports, not F1, in their launch car, spent over an hour, and then launched exactly the same car as last year. Now, it's not exactly the same. I think they've tried to ruin the goppiness, as I called it last year, of the yellow bit of the front wing. So that is definitely an improvement, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as last year. The Honda logo pretty much present there, as obviously Red Bull are trying to do their new thing, because obviously Red Bull have announced their new engine partner, which will be made in Milton Keynes, because Christian Horner confirmed that in an article last year sometime, that the new engine everything will be made at Milton Keynes, is what he said, entered on 2026. And the fact that the new engine partnership is going to be called Red Bull 4 Powertrain suggests the fact that Ford are going to be making that engine in conjunction with Red Bull at Red Bull's factory in Milton Keynes. So yes, now Red Bull aren't the only team to reveal last year's livery with updated sponsors, because Williams did that as well, funny enough. Yes, Williams have revealed pretty much a very similar livery to last year with the same colours. The only saving grace for it is the fact that it's got the Duracell battery over the air intake bit. Now, obviously, a lot of people were looking at Golf, hopefully expecting a Golf Williams livery that never came. So yes, but the big thing for Williams is that they've lost the Latifi money, and Duracell haven't really increased their sponsorship name. There's now Williams Racing logo, which has been on the rear wing for many years in place of a title sponsor, is now on the back of the rear wing where the Latifi sponsor Safina used to be. So these are difficult times for Williams. Obviously they're going to look to try and press forwards, but at the end of the day it's probably not going to happen for them, and they're probably going to be landing towards the back again as well. Lastly, earlier today, Alfa Romeo revealed their livery, and I'm not gonna lie, apart from the betting sponsor, which I talked about in last week's video, ruining it, it's I preferred last year's. I'm not going to lie. This looks like what they've done is that they've got last year's livery, and then they've coloured the white in black. That's what they've done. Yes, they've had a bit more to the halo, which I think was in red last year. I think it was in red on last year. This year it's going to be black. But other than that, I don't know what to make of it, because I actually liked last year's livery, but this year they haven't got that division between the white and the red this year. So yeah, it's for me disappointing. Especially this is going to be the last time I'm going to see Alfa Romeo on the grid. That is sadly a disappointing way to lay out. But let me know what you think about those 3 liveries in the comments below, and also comment below yourself, if you didn't vote in that poll, whether the FIA president Mohammed Sulayem should resign as well. If you are new around here, then please do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care, thanks so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.